Hello there, and welcome to the Second Life Book Club. My name is Draxter Dupre, and it's wonderful to see a full house here on our year-end community hangout. Bear with me because I'm streaming myself. Strawberry Linden, co-producer, has abandoned us. Um, no, she hasn't. But this is a very special show. We've been doing this since April, since we realized that the pandemic is going to, stay, unfortunately, and we approached authors to come in here to talk about their books. We had over 50 authors since April, and today we'll turn it over to the community to talk a little bit about the year 2020 in their books with their reading habits, with their recommendations, and maybe with their tips for 2021. And also, I see a lot of people here in the audience. Let me zoom back a little bit, who are aspiring writers, who are published writers. So this community is really incredible. It's incredibly inclusive. It's inclusive in the sense that writers mingle with readers, that folks are hopefully encouraged to read. I get a lot of positive feedback from folks that tell me, the last thing that I read was back in high school, but I'm picking up a book, and um, that is really making my day. So for me, this whole endeavor is, of course a pleasure, and it's a real treat to get big name authors in here like Ken Liu. I'm holding his book, The Hidden Girl, here. I'm going to read a little story from it in just a second. So it's awesome to have authors come in here of that stature: Ken Liu, Sarah Littman, Matt Ruff, Lovecraft Country, and so on and so on and so on. Will Wiles, one of my favorite ones that I discovered this year. But it's even more of a treat, frankly, to hear stories of Second Life folks that just come through here. Some of them quite randomly because we're listed on the destination guide. They come through here and they go like, "Hey, wait a minute, this is about book stuff, maybe this is something where I want to check it out." And then they stick around, and then I get messages of like, "You know what, this is really cool. I got back into reading because you kind of inspired me, or this community inspired me." So this is the biggest reward. We are Let me do a few housekeeping notes and throw out a few names. And again, today the microphone is open. Folks can go up to the microphone. This hour is about your story. I hope that I don't have to talk all the way through. There are books floating around here. Everybody can touch these books. These are books by the authors that came through here. And about halfway through the hour, we will venture out of this crater that we're in because this crater is part of the islands of floating or the floating islands of books or whatever. I have to figure out a name. These buildings or these cave-like thingies were made by Silas Merlin, and they were decorated and designed by Arieto Chiori, who went through the incredible effort to go through every show that we did. Again, we had over 50 authors here since April, and she went out there and put all these images into frames and linked them up with the live stream from the Second Life YouTube channel and linked up a book object that she designed with the author's website. So basically, this is now a gallery where everybody can go and check out the authors that have been here. And we're going to do a little walkthrough um, in a little bit. So this is absolutely, I'm very compelled to zoom out here and give it away a little bit. Let me zoom out here real quick and give the streaming audience on YouTube and Twitter a little glimpse here. Let's see here. Let's make the light a little bit brighter. And here you can see a tiny little preview of all these images that are lined up here. And if folks can zoom out, they see all these wonderful books on the book stand, and those go to the authors. Now, before I turn over the mic to you guys, and I also see in the audience Strawberry Linden, who I think will really want to kind of talk for at length about about me and how great I am and how important I am for this show. I'm joking. Oh my God, people actually believe this. People do people believe I'm that conceited? So, folks, please do mute your mics for now, and then we'll open the mic just a little bit. I want to open the show by reading a very short story from one of our first guests. The first show was, in fact, titled "Promoting Books in." I don't even remember the first show. Can somebody refresh my memory? It was something promoting books in a time of pandemic or something like that, with Matt Ruff, Ken Liu, CB Lee, and SL Huang. SL Huang went on to win a Nebula Award. Okay, so this happens quite a bit, by the way, here on the book club. Charles Yu won the National Book Award after he appeared on the book show. I mean, I'm not alleging there is a causal link, but I mean, come on. It's isn't it pretty clear that there is one? Anyway, so I'm going to read a short story from Ken Liu's The Hidden Girl, and this story is called um, Memories of My Mother, and then we'll open up the floor to you guys. Memories of My Mother. 10. Dad greeted me at the door, nervous. Amy, look who's here. He stepped aside. She looked exactly the way she did in the pictures hung everywhere in our house. Black hair, brown eyes, smooth, pale skin, yet she also felt like a stranger. I put down my book bag, unsure what to do. She walked over, leaned down, and hugged me, first loosely, then very tight. She smelled like a hospital. Dad had told me that the doctors had no cure for her sickness. She had only 2 years left to live. You're so big. Her breath felt warm and tickly on my neck, and suddenly I hugged my mother back. Mom brought me presents, a dress that was too small, a set of books that were too old, a model of the rocket ship she rode in. I was on a very long trip, she said. The ship went so fast that time slowed down inside. It felt like only 3 months. Dad had already explained it all to me. This was how she would cheat time, stretch out her 2 years so that she could watch me grow up. But I didn't stop her. I liked listening to her voice. I didn't know what you would like. She was embarrassed by the gifts that surrounded me, gifts that were meant for another child, the daughter of her mind. What I really wanted was a guitar, but Dad thought I was too young. If I'd been older, I might have told her that it was all right that I loved her gifts, but I was not yet so good at lying. I asked her how long she would stay with us. Instead of answering, she said, "Let's stay up all night and we'll do everything Dad says you can't do." We went out and she bought me a guitar. I finally fell asleep at 7 in the morning in her lap. It was a fantastic night. When I woke up, she was gone. 17. "Why the fuck are you here?" I slammed the door in my mother's face. "Amy!" Dad opened the door again, seeing him next to my mother, still 25, still exactly the same woman from the pictures. I suddenly realized how old he had grown. He was the one who held me when I was scared out of my wits by the blood I found in my panties. He was the one who, red-faced, mumbled to the store clerk to beg her to fit me for a bra. He was the one who stood there and held me while I screamed at him. "She has no right to dip back into life once every 7 years like some fairy godmother." Later, she knocked on my bedroom door. I stayed in bed and said nothing. She came in anyway. She had crossed light years to get here, and a plywood door wasn't going to stop her. I liked that she pushed her way in to see me, and I also hated it. It was confusing. "That's an elegant dress," she said. My prom dress was hanging from the back of the door. It was elegant and cost me half my savings, but I had torn it near the waist. After a while, I turned around and sat up. She was in my chair, sewing. She had cut a guitar-shaped piece from her own silver dress and patched it over the tear in mine. It was perfect. "My mother died when I was a little girl," she said. "I never got to know her. So I decided that I would do something different when I found out." It was strange to hug her. She could have been my older sister. 38. Mom and I sat together in the park. Baby Debbie was asleep in the stroller, and Adam was with the other boys by the jungle gym, screaming with joy. "I never got to meet Scott," she said, apologetic. "You weren't dating last time I visited during grad school." "He was a good man," I almost said. "We just grew apart." It would have been easy. I had been lying for so long to everyone, including myself. But I was tired of lying. "He was an ass. It just took me years to admit it." "Love makes us do strange things," she said. Mom was only 26. When I was her age, I had been full of hope too. Could she really understand my life? She asked me how Dad had died. I told her that he went peacefully, even if it wasn't true. There were more lines on my face on hers than on hers, and I felt that I needed to protect her. "Let's not speak any more of sad things," she said, and I was angry with her to be being able to smile, and I was also glad that she was there with me. It was confusing. So we spoke about the baby and watched Adam play until it was dark. 80. "Adam," I ask. It's hard for me to turn the wheelchair, and everything seems so dim in my eyes. It can't be Adam. He's been really busy with his new baby. Maybe it's Debbie, but Debbie never visits. "It's me," she says, and squats down before me. I squint. She looks still the same as always, but not exactly the same. The smell of medicine is stronger than ever, and I can feel her hands are shaking. "How long have you been traveling?" I ask. "Since you started." "2 years and counting," she says. "I'm not leaving again." I'm sad to hear this, yet I'm also happy. It's confusing. Was it worth it? I got to see less of you than most mothers, but also more. She pulls up a chair next to me, and I lean my head on her shoulder. I fall asleep, feeling young and knowing that she will be there when I wake up. And that's from Ken Liu's story collection, The Hidden Girl, story by with the name uh, My Memories of My Mother. Going to detach the book. So here we are. This is the book club. This is a wonderful story. There are longer stories too, but this one is just. I mean, I hope everybody understood the conceit here that this mother is able to visit every 7 years, and Ken has a incredible ability to create worlds with very little words. So now I'm going to hand the mic over if there are people who want to talk about their, I was almost going to say their second life. No, their book life, their life in books, their recommendations maybe of a book, or maybe how did you fare during the COVID era that we're still in terms of reading, in terms of being creative, in terms of your imagination. So I'm going to step away from the mic a little bit, and you can sit on this stool if you like, and just come on out. And also, the floor is open to our wonderful authors that are in the audience. Some of them I know, some of them I don't. I don't know everybody here personally. So if you are an aspiring writer or published writer, you can come up, sit on the stool, and tell us your story. And don't be shy. I know there's some folks ready to jump. I appreciate that they're that they're waiting. If somebody else comes wants to come first, but don't wait too long because I'll be starting to talk again. This is the Second Life Book Club, and as folks are getting ready to go there, and I see Shyla just went out there. Shyla, wonderful. Um, Shyla, you can adjust your. There you go. Perfect. See, I can adjust the mic for you as well. And the stool is it's not 100% gecko friendly, but almost. So
Yeah, it works.
it works.
Can I read Dana Joya and then I'll read maybe one of mine that has been published?
Yeah, Shyla, if you
Does that
want,
sound good?
you can also, if you want to introduce yourself real quick, what do you do in terms of writing? And yeah,
Okay. Well, I'm Shiloh the Super Gecko, and I'm a poet, and I read poetry throughout Second Life, and I go to poetry open mics here in Second Life, and I read at different events, and I read every second and fourth Wednesday at Janice Java, a little coffee shop in at Sinful Retreat. So uh, if you want more information, I am me. I love to read for people. Um, I'm gonna read a Dana Joya.
and Dana
Um,
Joya, who is Dana Joya?
so Dana Joya is a poet and a fantastic poet, I think. And he's got a book out. It's hard for me. I prefer like things on the Kindle, and not a lot of poetry books are made for the Kindle, and it's hard for me to hold books. But this one is. This is called 99 Poems by Dana Joya, new and selected, and there's one in here that I really enjoy quite a bit called "Do Not Expect."
And I'm going to put, sorry to interrupt, I'm going to just put the link to the book here in the local chat. Dana Joya, 99 Poems.
Oh,
Okay,
thank you. Yeah,
this is from
there you
Grey
go.
Wolf Press.
Thank you.
All
I
right,
think it'd be
Shyla.
great to get Dana Joy on this show.
And exactly because we said this off the air earlier. I would love to get more poets on. I love to get also publishers of genre magazines on, and so this book club here is not confined to novels or anything like that. As a matter of fact, I've also reached out to a lot of social scientists. I mean, it's just a lot of work logistically, and uh, let me just say this, sorry, Shala. Please do email me slbookclub@dragster.com, and that and keep hammering me with your recommendations for guests. So, and without any further ado, Dana Joya, read by Shyla.
Yeah, I'm just going to say hello to everyone because there's a lot of people I know here. But this is called Do Not Expect. Do not expect that if your book falls open to a certain page, that any phrase you read will make a difference today, or that the voices you might overhear when the wind moves through the yellow, green, and golden tint of autumn speak to you. Things ripen or go dry. Light plays on the dark surface of the lake. Each afternoon, your shadow walks beside you on the wall, and the days stay long and heavy underneath the distant rumor of the harvest. One more summer gone, and one way or another you survive, dull or regretful, never learning that nothing is hidden in the obvious changes of the world, that even the dim reflection of the sun on tall, dry grass is more than you will ever understand. And only briefly then you touch, you see, you press against the surface of impenetrable things. That is Dana Joy's Do Not Expect.
Thank you,
And
Shyla. Thank you. Big round
I'll
of applause for Shyla.
and I'll read one of my own. I like to write Fibonacci's. They're a mathematical. If you know who the mathematician Fibonacci is, you understand that he came up with this 0 plus 1 is 1. Um, uh, 1 plus 0 is 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 plus 1 is 3. 3 plus 2 is 5. And so the lines of this poem are written that way, written one syllable, two syllable, three syllable, five, eight, and so this was
Ah,
published in the Fib Review. And they make beautiful shapes. I'd put it in chat, but it's too wide, and chat doesn't center things. But this is shaped like a diamond. It's called Soul Sustenance. Live. See beauty sincerely. Speak art honestly. Neither shoulder the deceits of man, nor gold seekers, hoarders, trampling lives of their brethren. The body's shell expires. What is amassed is divided only unto the living. Touch depths and stand strong eternally, gloriously. Endure past deaths. They are our truth. Art is our spirit, the white mist beyond life's close. I think that'll do it for me,
thank you,
Drexter.
Shyla. If you have an image, I can't upload it now, but if you have one of your poems that have a diamond shape, feel free to put it on a prim and res it here. You have res rights because these Fibonacci poems are really interesting, and I learned all that from you. The way they're shaped visually is really amazing. So maybe you want to just put like a panel here on the side if you happen to have a texture of one of your poems, that'd be great. Um, so
I yeah,
yeah,
I do.
and then you people here can see it because I've been abandoned by my co-producer Strawberry Linden, um, who normally streams. Okay, that joke is tired. Uh, I'm not going to invite joke writers to the book club, but let me briefly give a shout out to a bunch of people, what we call the housekeeping notes. So the book club is co-produced by Strawberry Linden. The book club island is customized by people such as Marianne McCann, Silas Merlin, Solus, and Arduin Schwartzman, theanine, and the avatars of our guests are made. They're customized by Kralos, and sometimes they are even made from scratch by Silas Merlin. Um, who did I? Who have I forgotten? All the Lindens, mentioned Strawberry Patch Linden, Brett Linden, helping out, and the moles. Sometimes we have security moles didn't prevent us. One of the highlights last year was last year. Wait a minute, 2020 is still up. I don't know if you guys saw the show with Molly Flat, where the sim crashed, and we just kept going. We had a placeholder image, and we kept the conversation going, and we all came back, and it was just amazing. And something similar happened with up in the Irish pub with Anne Griffin, and it was very smooth, and we came back. So um, it was wonderful. Shyla, you can't res. Okay. Um, Strawberry is in the audience. Maybe Strawberry, you can turn on building real quick so that that Shyla can res. So let me throw this out again. How was your year in reading? What was there a book that stood out for you? What was a book that that was that helped you through this COVID era that we're still in? A book, uh, a story, a poem that is maybe some comfort food. A lot of people that came to the book club have expressed that they uh, were not able to read, dense material, but it's, I mean, I know this from my circle of friends. They said, I could only read romance, romance stories, stuff like that. But So how was that? And you don't have to come up to the microphone, if you're shy, that's fine. Oh, Nicole Wilson is in the audience too. Let me just zoom into Nicole Wilson. Nicole Wilson is a an author with the publishing house, The Parliament House. Please say hello to Nicole Wilson. Her avatar is magnificent, made by Kralos, and the Parliament House panel will be, oh man, February 24th, is that right? Could be. But the let's see here. Nicole knows it. Yes, she knows it very good. Please also befriend each other while you're here. Okay, don't be shy. Now, for the shy folks, please uh, write in text your your book or what your reading habits were this year, if they have changed, if if they have. And I'm going to bring over the chat here. Stella says, I'm writing short stories dabbling in sci fi and horror. The Second Life Book Club has been a great resource of inspiration for me on idea struggles and story development struggles in publishing. The author meets have been a front of material for me. Thank you to the authors and Drex in developing this to Strawberry for technical assistance, to Arieto and Silas and all who help you as a team and make this a great success. Thank you, Stella. So, what were some of the books that you gravitate towards? Were you able to read dense material, or did you do romance stuff? I'm scrolling back here because I know that Silas said something slightly offensive, but also hilarious. Silas said, I wrote a book once about life in the Church of Draxology. It was suppressed. Even the manuscript is gone. Where is Silas? Silas is standing up here. Silas, you don't even have the guts to say this to my face. Down here. The Church of Draxology doesn't suppress anything. The Church of Draxology has gives complete freedom to authors. Uh, Ruby is typing here in chat. Let's see here. There's a short novel I read this year that stood for me, but it's in Spanish. It's currently awaiting reprint. It's called Guardate de la. Oh my God, hold on. I gotta read this from the side panel here. Guardarte de la Gias Ias de Marte by Merce Omar Mas, a short sci-fi story set in the matriarch society in a distant Mars. Ruby, please link us here, even if it's the Spanish edition, um, maybe from Spanish Amazon or Goodreads or whatever you prefer. Uh, this sounds fascinating, and actually, that gives me the opportunity um, to ask if folks are interested in hosting. So 2021 is full. We have amazing offers just in January and February, but the whole year is fully booked. But I want to put this out there. If you are a Spanish speaker and if you're interested in actually hosting here, you don't have to commit to a weekly thing. But we have a lot of interesting Spanish authors, and it would be super interesting to have a Spanish speaking host that could host the show. YouTube at this point has very, very good live subtitles that they generate, and they generate translations as well. So this would be pretty cool. I also just noticed the camera now goes to Zelda Knight here. Zelda Knight is standing here. Oh my God. So Zelda, please introduce yourself in the local chat. Zelda is a is an author that is booked for the show, and you have to forgive me, Zelda, because I have absolutely no idea when are you coming on, but Zelda is the proprietor of Oriela Leo Company, which is a publishing house, and she publishes a bunch of books. ZeldaKnight.com is her website. I'm really psyched that Zelda showed up here. I hope that she can hear us. Um, but Zelda is coming on with a colleague of hers, and I was alerted to her endeavor by a compilation called Dominion, and that is a compilation of authors of African authors in the diaspora. Super interesting. Tell us more if you want to come up to the mic, Zelda. Please do. No pressure. Walk forward. Hit that speak button on the bottom, and he called the same to you. So I'm just going to throw this out there. Everybody is welcome to the mic, especially our authors, but not exclusively so. Um, if somebody wants to look up Zelda and put her link into the local chat, that'd be awesome because I cannot multitask at this point as I'm running the camera. But Zelda is again, she's coming on with her colleague Ekpeki Okenichove Donald, and the compilation is called Dominion, and it's an anthology of speculative fiction written by folks who are of African descent, but live abroad, so to speak. Ah, Strawberry's here. Maybe Strawberry can put that in there. Look up Zelda. I don't know if Zelda can operate the voice, but now, if Jessica is also a published author, and Jessica, if you like to come to the mic and also you can read from your exquisite work, but also tell us first a little bit about who you are and what the COVID time era has meant to you as a creative person. And again, what I find most interesting is how did that inform your reading habits? Um, I'm a big fan of dense stuff and stuff that is challenging. And Saving Lucia, for example,
Hmm,
of our recent guest. Oops. Oh, we have a mic
that was
here. We
that was
have.
me purring. Am I audible? Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. We hear you.
Yeah.
We hear you quite well.
Okay. Uh, Little background. I'm Australian. Uh, I had a bit of a life change in 2015. I went to the UK on a job, met a man on Second Life, married him in 2019, and was all ready to move to the UK, to the Netherlands where he lives. Only then we had a pandemic,
Hmm.
and I'm half packed, and I was on the last Eurostar out of the UK into the Netherlands. So here I am in my new country. I don't speak the language. Uh, it's pretty crazy.
So
Uh,
you are totally stranded in a different world. And did it at least work out with the man, or
oh
are you
yeah.
blinking twice? Do we have to rescue you? Do we have to come in there and get you out, or?
No, no, no. He is cool. I live on a beautiful island, and it's great, except I don't speak the language. So Dutch classes start on Monday. So this year, only written about 10,000 words. Oh my God.
That's pretty good.
So I found a book club which cheered me up no end, and I found a book which I'm going to recommend to you all. It's called Hamnet. It's by Maggie O'Farrell, and it is the backstory of Shakespeare's wife. Um, Usually women don't get, women of famous men are tending not to get anything written about them, but this is a book completely about his wife and his children and his son Hamnet, who died. The book was so fantastic that about 10 pages in, I bought the Audible as well, and I sat outside and read and listened at the same time. I cried, I laughed. It's the book I wish I had written. And of course, it is so pertinent right now because Shakespeare's son Hamnet died of the pestilence. It is the most incredible piece of writing. It's just gut wrenching from the birth to the deaths. Anyway, I'll read you a bit if that's okay, just a little bit from Hamnet by Maggie O'Farrell. Setting the scene, the pestilence is in the household, and Agnes, which is the name of Shakespeare's wife, is at home with her children. Agnes is sitting on the floor by the pallet next to Judith, a cloth in her hand. She has been there all night. She will not rise, she will not eat, she will not sleep or rest. It is everything Mary can do to get her to drink a little. The heat from the fire is so great that Agnes' cheeks have scarlet spots upon them. Strands of hair have escaped from her coif to right themselves in damp scribbles on her neck. As Mary watches, Agnes dips the cloth into a bowl of water and wipes Judith's brow, her arms, her neck. She murmurs some words to her daughter, something soft and soothing. Mary wonders if the child hears her. Judith's fever has not broken. The bubo in her neck is so large, so taut, it may burst, and then all will be lost. The girl will die. Mary knows this. It may be tonight in the deepest dark, because that is the most dangerous time for the sick. It may be tomorrow, or even the day after tomorrow, but come it will. There is nothing they can do now, just as 3 of our own daughters were taken, 2 of them when just babies. Judith will go from them. She will not have her any more. Okay, now we cry.
Oh, this is
Isn't that
good.
beautiful?
Yeah, this is
It is
fantastic.
so beautiful. And that story took place in 1580.
So I
So,
posted this in the local chat. So again, this is Maggie O'Farrell's Hamnet. Um,
Hamnet.
Hamnet, yeah, and it's a the portrait here. It says in the description, The story behind Shakespeare's most enigmatic play, Hamlet, is a luminous portrait of a marriage at its heart, the loss of a beloved child. Warwickshire in the 1580s. Agnes is a woman as feared as she is sought after for her unusual gifts. She settles with her husband in Henley Street, Stratford, and has three children, Judith, Susanna, and Hamnet. And the boy Hamnet dies in 1596. 4 years or so later, the husband writes a play called Hamlet.
I really recommend it. It is wonderful. That's a really sad piece.
Hmm.
It's just heartbreaking. But the things that I really loved were her language and her descriptions of womanly things, of childbirth, of a woman reacting to her children, a
Hmm.
woman reacting to her husband and her grandparents. It's just so physical. And it's the book I wish I'd written. So recommended to you all. It's not a hard read. You don't need to know about Shakespeare. You don't need to know any history. You just need to know about people. So
We
that's my little bit of stand up for you.
Thank you, Jessica. Real quick, one follow-up question. So you are okay with stories that tug deep at the heartstrings and make you cry? Because like I said earlier, I mean, I get this feedback quite a bit where people have given the situation in the real world, they say, I some of them say they're surprised at themselves that they have no coping mechanisms anymore, and they cannot even consume any type of art that is challenging them emotionally because they just don't have the emotional capacity to deal with it.
I think we can't run away. I mean, I'm like Peter, I've been revisiting Agatha Christie because her plots are just amazing.
Hmm.
I'm also reading an author called Helen MacDonald who writes about ecology and animals. And she's written a wonderful book of essays called Vesper Flights, which is about birds.
Hmm.
I'm also rereading The Night Manager by John le Carre, who
Oh,
makes me cry. I love his books. I'm not sure I like the world he comes from, but I love his books. I've got a book on Dickens. What else have I got? Oh, and the one we've discussed, Drax, the title of which I've just forgotten. Who was a guest here? Oh, Molly Flat.
Molly Flat.
Molly Flat. Well, I did get to the end.
Uh-huh.
Um, yeah, I did get to the end. I think that's all I should say about it,
Well, good. I
really.
mean, I'm the same way. I finish books. It does matter. It's a matter of, I don't know, of respect of someone having written it. Let's put it this way, right? It's
Yeah,
like you just finish it because I was raised that way.
yeah, and you paid for it, so hey, you read it. I also read most of the authors we've had. I've read something. I do some prep. I read the book. Hey Siri, did you love Vesper Flights?
Yeah, Vesper Flights. I just put it in the local
Oh,
chat.
wow.
Helen McDonald, Vesper Flights.
Yeah, it is just But her first book, H is for Hawk, again another book that just ripped my heart out. It was glorious. But that's been the year really.
And that's nonfiction
It's a
about
mixed bag.
birds.
Um, H H is for Hawk is her story of when she's a Cambridge professor and she raised a hawk. Now I can't remember whether it was a falcon or merlin or what it was, but she raised it from a small chick.
Hmm.
And you realize the damn thing just doesn't sit there. You've got to take it out. You've got to have a fridge full of dead animals to feed it. You've got to exercise it. And occasionally it rips all the skin off your arm. Um, it was an eye opener and a very odd thing for a Cambridge professor to do. But she writes beautifully, and
Hmm.
she writes with an eye to the natural world and what we're losing. And I think that's very important that somebody does. That
Yeah.
I will be silent now, but it's been a good year for books.
I think so
I love,
too. Yeah, it's
yeah, I love it.
thank you, Jessica. And if AJ McDowell wants to come up to the mic, please do. In the meantime, I'm going to zoom into this Fibonacci poem that
Oh,
we
yeah.
Shyla just read this here, and this is a diamond-shaped Fibonacci poem. Shyla, would you object if I read this here as where I'm zooming into, and this is what Shyla was talking about. This is a Fibonacci poem in the diamond shape. So they come in these different shapes, and so they are, I guess, a challenging form, but also uh, when you're able to execute this, a really cool visual. So this is one of Shyla's poems. I'm going to read it. Smoke, breathe, in, out, hold, release, launch creative drift, write fearless, poignant poetry, ballpoint mind trips, cheese silence, sparkling universes. Wake a sapphire dream, pursue glorious introspection, release adversity sprites, floating through heavens misjudged, aliens unprofessed terrestrial cobalt orb burning, blood, humanity's coming execution. Soul aching chorus repeating, inhale, hold, release, fearless spiritual shift, rise. Peaceful shades of blue fills hearts with indigo sea waves, rise beyond azure nitrogen, seas revolutions, peaceful soul, behold, blue, dream. And that's from Shyla, the super gecko. I think these are displayed in her in the Glinka gallery in Second Life. So we have AJ McDowell behind the camera.
Yes, I'm here.
Good. Everybody
And
has a very. You sound great, but if you bring the mic down just a tad, maybe my headphones were a little bit too
how do
high.
you do?
Just
Okay,
just
is that better?
yeah. Very
Yeah, I
good.
moved
So
it. I moved it out a little. I've got to say, I love that poem of Shiloh's. I saw it when we were at the gallery, and she read it, and it's just absolutely beautiful. And that's a lot of what I've really gained from book club. I haven't done as much book reading as I would like, although I did read Matt Ruff's Bad Monkeys, which was epic, and y'all should
see,
totally get it and read
oh
it.
yeah. Oh, thank you for mentioning this because I want to say, Matt Ruff. I've become a total Matt Ruff addict,
Oh yeah.
and I'm not going to steal your mic, but I need to say this because Matt Ruff is brilliant in the sense that he goes in between kind of complex structures and deep subjects such as multiple personality disorder, which he handles with really deep insight, and it's a challenging book, the set this house in order. And then and he told us this, I think, when he came here, that he kind of tries to like switch back and forth, like, okay, now I've done something really kind of deep, now I'm going to just do sort of like a fast paced fun thriller or something. And Bad Monkeys is that book. Bad Monkeys is just really wacky crazy with this woman who works for a secret organization that disposes of people. And so yeah, if you want a quick read, um, that has someone who is possibly mentally ill but doesn't really get deep into the challenging parts of that issue, um, read it.
No, I agree. Actually, I also read Set This House in Order. In fact, I think I read it before Bad Monkeys.
Hmm.
So, and it was very clear the difference between the depth
Yeah.
and the complexity of Set This House in Order and the constant twists and turns. And Matt Ruff cannot help but have a few twists and turns, even in Bad Monkeys.
Yep.
But it was very much a more of a light romp, which is hilarious
Yeah.
because
Exactly.
it's
Yeah.
about a lot of murder and crap. But hey.
Yeah. But exactly, you nailed it. The tone, he's able to go between like a really lighthearted, fast paced tone, and then something that is really very profound. Not that that lighthearted stuff is not profound. It's both are very entertaining. But that is what I find very impressive, that he can sort of go between these tones and kind of pull it off. Because some people, if they take I don't know, schizophrenia and want to make sort of a fun thriller out of it, it usually fails. But
No,
anyway,
absolutely. And his narrative flexibility is one of the things I find most enjoyable because you're not dealing with a flat reading experience. You don't go into a Matt Ruff book going, about 12 pages and, oh, okay, this is what's going to happen, and this person's going to fall in love with this one, and they're going to have a conflict around here, and by the end, either ending A or ending B will obviously happen. You just don't know what's going to happen. And I kind of love that about him because he keeps you thinking and he keeps you active. And that actually spins into what I was going to say about my feelings about the Second Life Book Club, and that is that what a big thing it has done for me is it's kept me engaged both socially and intellectually during the lockdown and during the subsequent working from home deal and everything like that. I am a big reader, although I've been a lot more scattered on that this year for, well, obvious reasons, but I have read more than I would have thanks to book club, and it's also gotten me engaged more creatively. I actually started building in Second Life, partly because my creative urges were being piqued, and I'm a 13-year-old avatar. All I could res until this year was a cube, and now, yeah,
and now
and
you
now
can rent a
I've
sphere.
well, no, but I made your coffee mugs. I made those.
That's
Those were
right.
not
Oh,
pre-purchased.
where are
I
the
made
coffee
those,
mugs? I
buddy.
haven't read them. Oh my God, I need to put some out there.
but but I made those coffee cups. I actually we actually during all this we bought a region, and we have a venue that is literally a giant frying pan up in the sky that I made out of prims, and it has a little spiral thing that looks like a burner is scripted to glow hotter and then get cooler, and not without something like the book club to actually spur that and keep the thoughts going. I don't know if any of that would have happened because you can just get so ground down and so caught up
Yeah.
in all this just yuck that's on the news and on everything else. And it's wonderful to have somewhere where it's not comedy necessarily, but there are interesting things going on and there are ways to engage your intellect. And oh, yes, Shiloh, exactly. Yes. And
So,
what Shiloh just said in text, she said, I do exhibits development and a lot of interior design, so I relate. You nailed how great this club has been for all of us. And I think I got my point across. So at this point, I'm going to give you back your mic, Drax. But I did want to say thank you. This has been just an absolute wonder, and I love it. And I'm so glad that I first ran into you back at MuseWeb, or I might have missed it. And it's been fabulous. Thank you, sir.
thank you so much, AJ. And if you want to res the coffee mug, I can't bring it out here because, like I said, I have to do multitasking today, streaming and talking and everything. Wonderful,
But I
AJ.
have did you give me res rights?
Uh,
Because I
well,
can't, because it's no build right now, unless I
right.
have them specifically.
I think strawberry's gone. Okay, well we'll res some later, or maybe you can hand them to
Whenever.
people
It's fine.
who
Yes, I
visit.
can do that.
Also, Zelda Knight is in the audience. If anybody can help her with her mic setup, so Zelda is booked for mid or late 2021. Look at her avatar, how magnificent her avatar is, made by Kralos. So, Zelda, people, please feel free to IM her directly and maybe troubleshoot her mic issues if she wants to say
I
something.
think I think I figured it out. If
There she
people can.
is. Oh my
Hello.
God. Hello.
Hi
Oh,
everyone.
welcome. This is you're brand new here. Do you want to I don't want to put you on the spot, but you want to come up to the mic and tell us who you are and what you're doing and how the year has been?
Oh sure. I'm brand spanking new, so I'm walking all jankily. But
No, we
hey,
love this. And by the way, Angelica told me that one of the things she loves about the book club, not the only thing, but one of the things she loves is when authors fall off the stage. Now, Zelda doesn't know this because we're not in a regular venue right now, but sometimes authors they have to get up from the sofa and then they have to walk forward to the mic or to the book stand and then they fall off the stage. So with Paul McGauley and Christopher Brown, it was hilarious because they fell off 3, 4 times and then I put a invisible barrier up finally. But yes, so Zelda Knight is your pseudonym,
My
if you
pen
want, yeah, your pen name, if you want to introduce yourself, what do you do, and how has the year been for you as a creative professional?
So, hey everybody, my real name is Olivia, but my pen name is Zelda Knight. Yeah, like this year has been nothing short of nonstop everything. Like it's actually been a wonderful year for me as a creative. I found these wonderful authors that were working together to launch the shared world. I put out an anthology called Dominion, and that's how I connected with Dex. But yeah, it's been a really wonderful year creative wise, but life wise, it's just dealing with the pandemic, and I was furloughed from my job working at a museum, so it was just a lot of ups and downs. But overall, it's been a decent year, all things considered. And I'm really excited to be here and finally come to book club. Like every Wednesday, I'm like, yes, I'll definitely be on it, and something comes up. But finally, at the end of the year, I'm actually here, and I'm excited to, get to know everybody and listen to more readings and everything. And also, show off this pretty dress that was made for me because I don't know what I'm doing, but it looks really nice, and I'm just happy to get to virtually meet everyone.
It's wonderful, and it goes to show you, folks always say, "Oh, Second Life is so complicated. I can't even move." And here we actually have books floating around. I just want to say that there's a book floating behind you precariously. I don't know what's happening here. And have I also mentioned that we have a dragon up there, Zelda? Miss Firethorn is up here. I'm camming around. But Zelda, so I hear that you have been your creative energy um, has not been diminished much through all this anxiety, or do you want to share like little tricks how to harness the energy despite the anxiety that is happening with the day to day with corona and related to corona work and being laid off and such, and what is the Dominion anthology about? So a whole bunch of questions.
Oh, no problem. So, like, for me personally, I've had um, I've been really thankful that I have been able to find some freelance work online and work from home, both in my career and also just school wise. So that's really kept me afloat. And I think what really helped me not feel diminished creative wise is that I really found my writing tribe. Like I really hope this is my book tribe where it helps me get back into reading, which has really fallen off in 2020. But writing wise, I found these really amazing authors, and we keep tabs on each other and make sure we're hitting weekly goals. We check in with each other. So I think that's why, because they're kind of in a similar situation where they're home more. It's been really useful to just connect with people because I'm like holed up at home most of the time if I'm not like getting groceries or something. So it's been really nice, and that's helped me really focus in on writing this year. And then for Dominion, me and my co-author Ogun Chavwe, he's from Nigeria. We got together and we put out an anthology that has short stories or short speculative fiction from Africans in the African diaspora. And I've just been really overwhelmed with the response. It's done really well and gotten a lot of really great reviews. So I'm just, it all things considered, while in my professional, I guess, life, things kind of ventured off because of everything going off in my writing life, which is, I guess, also my professional life. But, my writing life and my publishing life, things have really just taken off and my community's expanded. So that's a long way to say having a strong community is the reason why
Yeah.
I could continue writing.
I put this in the local chat here, your anthology from the Goodreads link. This is really fantastic. I'm wondering if, and Nicole Wilson is sitting here in the back, and Nicole, you don't have to. Is Nicole still here? Nicole, if you want to step forward after Zelda, please do, or chime in, um, because it's great to have authors here too. Now, I'm outside of this, I'm a reader. I'm not in a professional writing community. I'm wondering, because it sounds, Zelda, that this is very supportive. Is there uh, is it generally supportive, or are there elements like in any community that can be uh, corrosive, can be, where competition spills over into, issues between individuals, because this is something that when I'm observing this from the outside, and every community has that. We have it here in Second Life as well, where sometimes, um, for whatever reason, it can be extremely, uh, it can get into an extremely negative place between individuals, and then kind of poison the entire community. And it takes a lot of skill to de-escalate sometimes conflict. So is there in your online community that is, as you're describing, very positive? Is that something that bubbles up sometimes, or how do you prevent that if it happens, or does it happen at all?
Well, I will be extremely honest. Yes, it does. We actually started out with more authors in this community, and two ended up leaving. And it was because of drama and conflict. I think the biggest thing is that when you come together online, and especially when you come together fast, you don't get a lot of time to like get to know people on like a personal level, if that makes sense. Like
Hmm.
it's almost like, oh, we both share this interest or this hobby or this, career goal, and we get together and it's all good. And then personal, politics, what you name it, can come up and cause tension.
Mm.
Um, I can't say you can prevent it, but what you can learn to do is like you just have to learn to, and I found that when you like, especially when you're typing and stuff, it's like you just have to learn to not always take everything as the worst way possible, right? Like, we just had something flare up today because we were supposed to send out this group newsletter, and it seemed like we were all like ganging up on this one girl, like, oh, she didn't send out the newsletter, so she kind of got a little snippy with us.
Hmm.
But when we kind of calmed down, de-escalated, and said, this is, a shared thing, like we all kind of messed up not thinking to put this newsletter out, and we were all like, it's cool, we calmed down. So it's like, I think a lot of times, and I think also we have to be mindful that we have outside stressors right now. We always do, but
Yes.
it's like on 100 right now. So like people are on edge, and so things that would have been like before, like it can turn into like these big blowout arguments. So I think the main thing is like every community has that, because we're all different people trying to come together, and sometimes you can have overlapping or opposed, kind of things. But at the same time, I think it's just giving people grace and not taking everything as like the worst thing when it's said, because sometimes people truly don't mean it that way, or they just come off the wrong way through text. Where
Mm.
when we have our face to face, like we have monthly like face to face things, then like most of the time the stuff we were arguing about was like it was not that serious. So it's like it's just like giving people grace.
See, I know exactly what you're talking about, because here in Second Life, I'm camming towards me. There is somebody who's putting books on top of my head. Now, ordinarily, this could be construed as bullying, but oh my God, somebody put four books on my head. Now they're turning it around. Oh, this is a great book, The Color of Law. Now they're turning around. Um, Thank you, Zelda. This is quite insightful. So I'm hearing one of the things is that certain types of communication, they may be more prone to misunderstanding if it's maybe only text, or something else. Nicole, do you want to step up to the mic and tell us a little bit um, about how you were dealing with all this creatively?
Sure. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Um,
Oh, Stella here is saying texting can always have misinterpretation. See, it's interesting because um, I work with the deaf mute community um, a bit through iSky, and she would say, since this is her only means of communication, is text, but that's of course different. So she is very attuned to the subtleties. Nicole said said back down. See, this is what people, and
yeah,
Zelda
I'm
is
sorry. I ended
Zelda.
up in the
There you
mountains
go.
or something.
Yeah, you got it. You got it.
Okay.
And
Is this
Tamu,
all right?
yes, absolutely. Let me just say, Tamu said Color of Law, Best Nonfiction 2020. Yeah, my wife bought that. I haven't read it, but she read it, and it's on my list. If Tamu, if you want to put the Goodreads link or some link to the Color of Law in the local chat, that'd be great. So, yeah, Nicole, please introduce yourself. Who are you, and how have you been dealing with the struggles as a creative?
Okay, hi everyone. I'm Nicole Wilson. As Drax said, I'm going to be a guest on the show at the end of February. My debut novel, Tide Pool, is coming out in August. I'm really excited about that. Something that has really been a godsend for me this year is I've been participating in a prompt-based writing challenge for the last several years on Medium, and every week they give you just a one-line prompt or a one-item prompt, and you write a story around it. And that is something that has kept me going when I just was not able to really think of anything else to write. So that was wonderful. But
And
also,
they give you one prompt, and then what are the parameters? Is there like a limit on words, or is there like a deadline? You have to turn it around in a specific time frame, or?
yeah, they give you the prompt on Saturday, and you have to turn in something by Thursday at midnight. And it's usually just one word that like started off as common household items, and
Oh.
it's so much fun. And it has been an absolute godsend this year because or especially early in the year and everything started going crazy. I was just my mind could not focus on anything. So that has been wonderful.
Nicole, you're giving me a great idea. I think we should do something like this on the book club. Let's do that. Let's put some prompt, and then if people want to heed the call, they can turn something around to the next Wednesday's show. Oh my
It really
God.
is. Fantastic.
Yeah.
And the publication is The Weekly Knob on Medium.com. If anybody wants to try that out there, they're starting again in January, so
Uh-huh.
I highly recommend it.
And is it a nourishing community? I mean, it's a similar question to what I asked Zelda because I'm curious about that. I mean, there's many reasons why people why anger and outrage is sometimes directed at people uh further down the ladder, which is very unfortunate. And I'm not going to go onto my extended diatribe how neoliberal capitalism has evolved to an extent where everybody sees everybody else just as a competitor and has atomized the society and has destroyed community. But Nicole, that community seems also like a kind of a positive,
Yeah,
encouraging place, right?
they have been so lovely and supportive, and I probably would not have ever even gotten the idea to start querying my novels if it wasn't for all the support I got from my short fiction. So, yeah, it has been absolutely wonderful. Very drama free, very kind, supportive people.
That's awesome. And your first novel is coming out. One of the things, one question, how do you deal with rejection? This is something we talk on the book club often. How was your path to this first novel? I'm assuming that you got rejected a few times
Yeah.
because everybody does, not because of you, Nicole.
Oh, yes. No, it was just me. No. Yeah. I mean, it's usually if it's something I really wanted, like an agent I really wanted to work with or a publisher I really wanted to be with, and they would turn me down. I would give myself a night to just be miserable and bang the cabinet doors and eat or drink whatever I wanted, and then next day just try to say, okay, find somebody else, get back on the horse. So that's kind of been the way I deal with it. So
And has it taken a long time for this novel? What's the name of the novel? Tell us again.
the novel is Tide Pool. I wrote the first draft in NaNoWriMo 2016. I finally got a publisher. I finally hooked up with Parliament House in the summer of 2019. So yeah, it was about 2.5 years of querying different agents and publishers before I finally found a home.
Hmm. Awesome. I'm really looking forward to having you guys on. So the Parliament House, if you want to put a link into the local chat, please do. The Parliament House is very interesting. I was approached by them by Mike, and this is an all female-led venture that specializes in horror. Is that right, or is it all horror or?
It's mostly fantasy with like a very speculative fiction in general focus, like fantasy, some horror. I'm very focused on definitely speculative fiction.
This is so cool. It really seems that, I mean, do you know if people are reading more? I mean, this is such a broad question. There's a lot of nuance to this because people say often, okay, nobody reads anymore in America, and then book sales are up. I had a guest, a YA author, who says that the the YA books in Britain sales are up, but nobody talks about them. There's no articles and papers, and so I don't know. Do you have any insight?
I mean, I'm surrounded on. I participate a lot in book Twitter. It seems like everybody there is reading. I know it's very sad in the United States. It seems like bookstores are having a terrible time hanging on, although the independent stores are apparently doing well through all this. So maybe it's going to start turning around. I really hope, because reading is just something I've loved all my life. So I really hope it hangs in there, at least in the U.S. I know when I went to London a few years ago, there was a bookstore in like every corner. It seemed like this is wonderful. I loved it. So
But
I'd
do
love to
you?
see that happen here.
But I wonder the yeah the I mean this is something where there's statistics left and right about in different ways. I'm gonna put the link up here too. Um, I'm a broken record. I gotta discipline myself that I'm not gonna go on my bandwagon about nobody reads anymore because I don't have any data. But what the fact is that there's a lot more competition for your eyeballs, and there's a lot of I think that's a general consensus on willingness to engage with more difficult material. I think that that is pretty clear because people have very limited time, and AJ, you were saying this earlier, and this is also echoed by a lot of people in my circles that say through the fragmented work-life balance, basically, or the bad work-life balance, um, people read less because their day is so fragmented between work and all these different obligations. This also has to do with the sandwich generation. A lot of people raising kids while they have to take care of their elders. And a lot of people have to work two, three jobs and are on call and all these kind of things that are not, they don't lend themselves to maybe reading dense materials. So this is sort of my theory. Um,
Mhm.
Tamo is saying here in the chat, I belong to hashtag call number and blacklit African American box book clubs, fiction and nonfiction. Oh, awesome. Is that Tamo? Put links there. Is that on Twitter? Put all the links in the chat, please. I'll retrieve them and put them on the blog as well. This is super interesting. So, uh,
Great.
thank you, Nicole. And I would like to now, because we're past the top of the hour, I would like to now do a little excursion here as we're wrapping up the stream because Arieto here, sitting on the rock, she has worked very hard to put the gallery together of all our past guests. So Arieto, if you want to lead us, we're gonna just follow you, and we're gonna follow you and fall down the stairs. We're not gonna fall out of the sky because there is some hidden wall that she put there. But let's look at the gallery. So this is the gallery that Arieto put together of all our past guests. Arieto, you will follow you. Yeah, and walk out here, and we have to walk down the stairs here. So this is going to be interesting. So let's all follow Arieto, and Arieto, you can tell us a little bit what you did there. As you know, me coming from radio, I'm going to fill dead air. And here, where does it start, Arieto? Oh my God. And here is Silas. Silas has built this.
I forget where it starts.
I
Let me
think it
see.
starts over here, right?
No, I think it's from here.
Follow us, folks. Follow us. I'm running the camera, the fly cam as I'm walking, so I'm gonna bump into things. Just follow Arieto. Don't mind me. I might bump into things. Oh my God. So every author who has visited us and all the panels are represented with these images from the book club calendar. And if you click on the image, this was our first show
Yeah.
in April. And so what happens if you click on the image, Arietu?
If you click on the image, it directs you to the YouTube video.
Hmm. And
And
then it,
so,
yes, go ahead.
if you click on the book, it directs you to the author's website.
So in this
So,
case, you click on this book, and because there were four authors, and this is ingenious, Arieto, then you can go to S.L. Huang's website, C.B. Lee's website, Ken Liu's website, and Matt Ruff's website. Dang, this is
yeah,
awesome. So for the panel shows, you go to the different websites, and let me just say, because we got a bunch of noobs here, this island, these floating islands, they are persistent. So we have about 300 people come through the book club every day. Okay, every day, 200 to 300 people come through here, and they wander around. Um, there's lots of different levels, as people know. We have a big castle, we have an Irish pub, we have a cafe, we have an urban environment with a cafe for spoken word and stuff. And so people wander around, and this is something I wanted to do for the longest time, and Arieto has done it. And thank you, Arieto. This is absolutely amazing. Um, what I will now have to do is to make little clips for a theater type thing. Well, maybe we'll build a theater where we can have like highlight soundbite clips of the interviews. You know, Matt Ruff talking about the fact that he thinks Ready Player One sucks. He never said that. Fake news. I know that Matt is probably watching the YouTube stream. Yeah, so here then if we oh sorry, I'm bumping into Zelda because I'm running the camera. Sorry. God damn it. I'm bumping into Zelda. And then you go here and you go further down. There's SL Huang. This is our panel. Is reading fiction the ultimate empathy machine? With Antoine Wilson, Ann Charnock, Laura Lamb, Yvonne Battle Felton, and absolutely, absolutely amazing. And Arieto, is there a guest book somewhere? Now, I thought there's a guest book.
yeah, the guest book is here on the main trams.
Okay. Oops, let's follow.
I still need to make like
Oh, wait,
a
I see. I'm
Second Life
sorry.
book
I
club
also
logo.
need to make sure that okay, Nicole, are you doing okay? Is anybody falling off the thing? No. Falling off the island? No. Miss,
Oh, please.
you put the barriers all around, right?
Yeah. I don't want to know that is everybody is falling.
So here is the guest book, and so what happens? You click on it, and then you can read or write.
You can write, and I'm not sure if you can read other messengers.
Okay, I'm gonna write hello. This is Drex, and this is my
Since I have like the owner menu,
uh-huh.
so
You can delete it. You're the owner of this, and then I can click read, and then I can read it. So the purpose of this, let me just briefly say also for the folks on the stream, the purpose of this is a little bit of a workaround for now, but what I want this to be is a way for people to recommend books. So if you have a recommendation, you can put it in here. And what I will do, I will basically manually once a week curate this and basically extract all this stuff and put it on a different a board of sorts because our master scripter Ardwin Schwartzman, he's super busy, and he told me that this is actually quite challenging to make something that like a guest book where it then displays all the writings on the wall. So ideally, what I had in my mind is like that all the recommendations would be like here on the wall or something like that, right? So what I will do, people can put their recommendations in here, and I will go over them once a week, and then I put a blackboard up um, and have them displayed with links. But so if you want, do it now. You click on it, and you get a prompt that says read or write, and then you choose write, and then you can write a little message. Um, yeah, and that's it. Again, the purpose, and we'll make this clear, Arieto. We have probably have to put something in there where we say, hey, this is for recommendations of your favorite books, and not, and please don't write, don't write a report of your vacation to I don't know, to the nation's capital when you were 15. You get banned. Um, so yeah, that's that. And um, awesome. Uh, Arieto, now
Yeah,
my question, does anybody have questions for Arieto here because she built this? I have a question. Arieto, how do we get to these other islands? I looked around and I saw some other islands. How do we get there, Arieto? Hmm?
okay, for get into the other islands, we need to get back at the top of the gallery.
Look, Shyla
So,
is trying to fly out, but you can't, Shyla. There, Shyla is trying to. Uh-oh,
no, that is cheat.
Shyla, you can't. She put some barrier there, so people uh don't fall out. Um. So where? Okay, we follow you, Ariete. You lead us. I think there's a teleporter somewhere, right? Where do we go? This way? Okay. Follow
Yeah.
Ariete. Oh, look at this. Sorry, I was just coming by this one here. Primi Mohammed. Primi Mohammed. That was really great. That was one of my favorite shows. Look at Primi. She has all tentacles over her avatar. She's all Cthulhuized. Anyways. Oh my God, Daniel Kraus. Daniel Kraus. He collaborated posthumously. Sorry, my English is not my first language. With George Romero, he finished a book that was drafted by George Romero. Anyway, where were we? Where's Arieto? Uh-oh.
I'm here.
Where?
On the top.
Oh, we have to go back up here? Oh, yes. Okay, let's go back. And
Uh,
here.
the teleport for going to the other islands is here.
Oh, this is the
Um,
teleport. Yeah. And where are we going?
yeah.
What's the name of the island?
We going to platforms.
Plataforms. Okay.
Plataforma.
Plataformas, yes. People don't know I speak fluent Spanish. So, plataformas, okay? Oh, Angelica, you're on the wrong teleporter. Not this one. This is the wrong teleporter that you're on. Okay, I gotta make sure that we don't not too fast here. Is Zelda still with us? Miss, can you fit?
Oh, I don't see Zelda.
Is Zelda, maybe she crashed? Let's see here. I'm gonna look at my list. Uh-oh. No, here she is. I'm gonna teleport her. Maybe she did fall off. There we
Yeah.
go. Okay, so one at a time. Misty, you go. There you go. Dove, you want to go next? There we go. I'm gonna wait. Shyla, you want to be the wait with me here so we get everybody through there? And we can go to all these different plataformas, right?
Right. There are five, six.
Five.
I don't
Yes.
remember well. I still need to put another one, I think.
These are all made by Silas very organically.
Yeah.
And we will continue to put out the images and the links to these other islands. And maybe I'm very open to ideas what we could do with the other islands. This could also be places for individual authors, for example. Um, they're
Yeah,
all
or in
awesome.
case the main gallery gets full, we can still put more authors on the islands
Yeah,
or make like a special section for other authors.
yeah, yes, yeah. Maybe the Parliament House publishing uh, can have their own island or something like that.
A
Okay,
second island.
these other people are not going, so let's just go. Come on, Nico. Here we go, Tura. Oh, Nicole is going with. This is one of the limitations. We have to go one at a time.
In the future, I'm going to make a bridge,
Nicole,
and it shouldn't be more less hard to go.
yes, a bridge would be great. Nicole, stand up one more time and sit back down, please, because that there we go. Now I think you can choose plataformas in the upper right hand corner. Should be a window. And what I'm going, there she goes. And I'm going to go. There we go. So here we're on plataformas. Wow. It was very quiet up here, Angelica, because I was not here. And I'm going to stand here and to wrap up the stream, we're still streaming. I'm going to read a very short story to close off um this wonderful community show. Can somebody teleport Zelda? I think Zelda is totally lost. I'm going to read a very short story from Anna Vaught's book Famished. She was our last author for the year from last week, and her short stories from the Famished collection are all about the horror of food. Zelda is offline. Okay, maybe she had to go. It was wonderful that she dropped in. It's really cool to see authors, be come in and able to navigate right away. I'm not going to bore people with my anecdote about Larry Niven, who is an amazing guy. What was fascinating, Larry Niven is 82 years old, and I helped him onboard in SL. Oh, Zelda is coming back. There she goes. Okay, here's Zelda. So while she's rezzing, before I'm gonna read this, when Larry Niven was here, he I called him on the landline on his landline phone. He doesn't have a cell phone, and I asked him, okay, can we go on a video call? Do you have Skype? And he says, I don't know if I have Skype. And so it took us 2 hours to download and install Second Life. But what was the challenge? The challenge was the Windows operating system for an 82-year-old intellectually completely active man. It it illustrated to me how bad and inflexible the Windows operating system really is. Because once Larry Niven was in Second Life, this is r- true and is utterly amazing. Once he was in Second Life, he was able to navigate, he was able to walk around, he was even able to do the free cam basically. Um, so again, it's I don't know what my point is here. I guess it is that a 3D environment for somebody like him who imagines worlds for a living was much more natural place to navigate. So that was a really cool experience because I thought, oh my God, we can't even get to download and install SL. He's never gonna make it in the show, but he totally did. I'm gonna read a quick story and then we can still chat if people want, but I'll read a quick story from Famished by Anna Vaught, and then I'll stop the stream. People can mingle, hang out, go dancing, but first, or in closing for this wonderful community show, this is by Anna Vaught. Famished is the uh, book, and the story is called Bread and Salt. In our convivial homeland, when important, respected, or admired guests arrive, they are presented with a loaf of bread. We favor that which we call a korovai. It is placed on a rushnik, the embroidered ritual cloth. A salt holder or a salt cellar is placed on top of the bread or secured in a hole on the top of the loaf. And on official occasions, the bread and salt are usually presented by fresh young women dressed in national costumes, the sarafan and the kokoshnik, and it is a picture. We love hospitality here in our quiet town. Yes, yes, yes. And say, can you hear it whispering? The conviviality, the graciousness. Can you see the salty moisture on the lips of the young women? Forgive me, for I should not speak of such rapacity. But I'm an old man now, so old, and my pulse soars quickly when I think of things unjuined and well as the desiccant salt and dry bread, and the two together. Oh, but forgive me, I'm also too old. Now, oops, we have an open mic. Please close it. Now, this bread and salt tradition of which I speak gave rise to the Russian word which expresses a person's hospitality. It is khlebosolny, which is to say bready salty. To further my exposition, you should know that the word bread is associated in Russian culture with hospitality because bread is the most respected food, and then the salt is associated with friendship. We have a saying, to eat a pood of salt with someone. Salt has historically been a prized commodity, expensive, much taxed. Do not sprinkle it lightly. Even I, rich beyond your compare, would not dare to do so. Do not misprize it, ever. Not in my presence, dear one. I have many riches and many feasts at my home, though I prefer to lay a fine table and eat much later. Much, much later, and heretically. None of this means I'm wasteful or ungrateful of fine commodity. There's also a traditional Russian greeting, "Klep da sol." Here, it is so much more elegant to utter it in our language. Ha! Bread and salt. The phrase is to be uttered by an arriving guest as an expression of good wish towards the host's household. And when I invite you in, stepping over the threshold of my fine home, of your own free will, I expect this from you. You know, bread and salt has often been used by beggars as an implicit hint to be fed. I know well that in the village those supple minds give a mocking rhymed response. Klep da sol, jem da svoi, again for elegance. Klep da sol, vem da soy, which is to say bread and salt. I'm eating, and it is my own. Ha! Ungenerous. And so the villagers tell them, poor famished things, to go away with mucks and maws, but an unsuspecting beggar comes instead to my door, and I do not mock. He is frail. I feed him, and later he will feed me, and then, sweet revenant, he may exist in motes of dust or plumes of smoke. He may take back the to the issuers. The mote evolves into a well-fed beggar in front of their swooning eyes. The plumes drift under their bedroom door. So revenge is taken on the unmannerly. Once I was hungry too, and always, generations back, before I was heretic, toothsome, and fixing my evil eye, I was cultured. Do you think a monster is uncivil? Now, if you come to my house, bread and salt. Hospitality. Say it to me too, as I told before, as a guest respecting his host. Manners are important. They are not trinkets to dispose of when you tire of possession. Bread and salt, we say, and we are friends. But I will still eat you. And that's from Anna Watts. Absolutely excellent. Famished, which is really literary horror. I mean, some of the stuff is really nasty and awesome. It really is. She's taking all the eating, you know, eating and feasting and bonding while eating. It's all turned upside down. Really imaginative. So thank you guys. I'm gonna cut the stream. I'm gonna just quick housekeeping notes. Cut the stream, and then we can uh, still hang out. Uh, Thank you for a wonderful year. We started this in April. We're going super strong. I would have never anticipated the response to this. I'm humbled, and I'm also really hopeful about the future of humanity. That so many people are interested in the written word and in real community around this. So this is awesome. The show is made possible by Linden Lab. They're helping me with providing the space here. Strawberry Linden is co-producing. Brett Linden is helping with marketing. Patch Linden is providing the island, and the moles have originally built it, but Arieto Kiori has customized it. Silas Merlin has customized it. Marianne McCann, Arden Schwartzman, Kralos makes avatars. Silas makes avatars. AJ McDowell makes coffee cups. So many people help out here, and I probably forgot a whole bunch. Please send me a message because I don't have it in front of me. I don't have my my thank you list in front of me. I wish everybody an amazing transition into the new year. May the new year be full of good stuff, full of uh, you know good creative pursuits that help you to connect to our shared humanity. Um, I don't know. I was going to recommend Robert Lustig's book Fat Chance, which is about sugar, where he talks about community as well in terms of eating and stuff. But before I get off these tangents, I'm going to say thank you, community. Thank you. It's so awesome, and you know that the purpose here is community building and not to fit a narrow promotional window, which I have pushed back against quite a few publicists who have approached me. This is to me a labor of love where I approach authors that I find interesting and that my eclectic taste and the eclectic taste of the audience fits. And this is not a vehicle for publicists to come here and hand me a few questions. I read every book, I prepare every book, um, and this is really something where, of course, because of the high numbers that we get on all the streaming platforms, a lot of people go like, "Oh yeah, I can push my author here," and not that they don't get a that they get upset when I write friendly emails saying this is really not one of those shows where a producer hands me or 10 questions and I don't even read the book and then I just go through the motions. No, this is real community building. So having said that, thank you. Next week we continue. Next week is Nick Mamatas. Nick Mamatas is quite an amazing and accomplished writer of speculative fiction of all different varieties, horror, sci-fi. He even wrote a book called The Book of Insults Every Man Should Know. And Nick Mamatas is on the show, also an editor, just came out with a collection of an anthology about cosmic horror, Lovecraftian stuff. And so Nick Mamatas is on the show next Wednesday, same time, same place, maybe here, maybe downstairs. I don't know. So thank you guys. And I'm going to cut the stream and then we can hang out some more in